Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. Today I wanted to take a moment and have you join me as I have a nostalgic ramble on tabletop models. No thanks, or I guess thanks, to RNS Studio for really knocking it out of the park with some fond memories here that I'm now going to have to paint. And most likely this stuff is now going to jump the queue because it's not like I don't have any other stuff that needs to be painted. Now, I'm a big fan of Arna Studio's original stuff. They're one of the very few tabletop model producers that really kind of try to emulate that Japanese anime manga aesthetic, Korean MMORPG style, or just, Asian fantasy in general. Not a lot of other studios really do that. Not a lot of other sculptors really try to key into that. They're one of the few, and for that reason, I do keep an eye on things they release. And, I really dig when they do something different, something unique, like we've got their Oni Warriors here. And I know it needs a little bit of cleaning. I haven't primed it. This is just like straight off of the printer. Kind of a different look as I throw it and hopefully don't break it. With the kind of monstrous armor, interesting touch, and the one horns. They had some pretty big models in that release too. Some of their various anime styled warrior ladies. Why she's blindfolded, I have no idea. I don't even know if I've ever shown her. I have been meaning to paint this model for ages, and I have yet to get around to it. I don't know what's going on with the sword, but I dig it for all of its improbableness. But that's not actually what I want to even talk about today. So one of the things that I've known RNS Studio has done has been to make a lot of homages to famous characters that they have enjoyed and appreciated over the years as well. Warriors of Hyrule, for example. But that's not what I want to talk about today either. What I actually want to talk about is this guy. Oh, yeah. They had to go and do it. Yeah, they'd made Luffy before, but Mr. Joestar himself. So I have a really fond, nostalgic spot for this iteration of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This was one of the first books I ever picked up in Japanese. Mandarake came to the San Diego Comic Con, I want to say probably early mid-90s. And so they just had piles of books for like $1 a piece, or it was like 5 for 3. It was ridiculous. And I grabbed all sorts of stuff that just, I didn't know any Japanese at the time. I was just a dumb teenager. But that stuff just blew my mind at the time. And I got the issues where he first comes up with the Pillarmen. And I had no idea what's going on, why these guys are so crazily posed. They're lopping heads off. People are just getting crazy stuff happening to them. The poses, the fighting, it was wild. I had never seen anything like it. And then I picked up a bunch of books from Kujakuo, which Yumpyo made a movie of. Yuen Bao did a Japanese Hong Kong co-production in the mid-90s. That was also quite spectacularly nerdy of me to get into and have no idea what I was getting myself into. Anyway, so this was a really cool pose. I can remember seeing, artwork of, was it Joseph? Jonathan? I don't remember. One of the JoJo's. But that was just the tip of the iceberg for this release. In addition to busting out some seriously classic-looking manga characters, of which this guy might be familiar. If you had fighters from the end of the alphabet on your list of things that you needed on the tabletop, they're one that I've always wanted. And Brawly here in particular, I can remember in the 90s seeing the action figures that Bandai was putting out in Japan, probably around the time Dragon Ball GT was out, and always wanting one and never having the money for it. And these days, I'm just not impressed with it. And the fact that Brawly was, totally a different mold, looked cool, looked big, looked different, looked unique, always wanted to get him, and I never did. But I do now. But that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough for them. Then they went and they made one of the first G.I. Joes that I ever got. And yeah, I know I need to clean it up a bit before I actually go ahead and get him all primed up. They made friggin' Destro. Destro needs to get that support out of his collar there. And I'm pretty sure, didn't he come with the briefcase? At least if he's over here, no one's going to notice as much now that I pointed that out. But if you're going to have Destro, you're going to have somebody to go up against him. And good old Duke, and he's even got the binocular things that never seem to go on to the body with that cheap plastic strap. I know Major Blood was another one of the early G.I. Joes that I got. And the generic guys. I know I had like the laser fighter with the visors that always broke off. Like I said, I'm just going to go on a nostalgic ramble today. I earned it. I deserve it. Sadly, we didn't see any Storm Shadows yet, but even though I've already got one from Hardcore Miniatures, who's back in action, by the way, if you guys want to take a look at that, they still weren't satisfied. And then they really got what I wanted. And they did Final Fantasy IV figures based on Amano's artwork. I don't know what happened with the face right there. Something looks weird. Something looks off. The face seems to have kind of mushed together. And poor Cecil, I don't know. Maybe it'll look better once I've got it primed. I know he's got the headband on. I always hated the actual Amano artwork because his armor looked so improbable. At least like the sprites in the game, he looked okay. And I don't remember him ever using a spear. I thought he always used a sword after he became a paladin. But that could just be me misremembering things. And then if you're going to have Cecil, you got to have the baddie, good old Golbez. He had a little snake thing, much like the original artwork, that's supposed to go curl around his shoulders, but I don't know where I stuck it. So he's not there. So I'm quite happy to see this stuff get realized on the table. I'm going to be happily getting mine cleaned up and primed and painted. So hopefully we'll see more of this. But I absolutely want to encourage them to continue to put these kinds of models out. I love it. And if other companies want to get in on that kind of anime-styled action, by all means, please do, people. There are very few that do. The only one that I can really think of is Irnkman's minis, who are getting some of those Z Warriors as well. Gonna have to get a Goku painted up. But more importantly, they did Cell. Gonna need some of those little midget cells as well. So if you guys have any other recommendations for the anime nostalgic factor that I need more of on my tabletop, by all means, let me know down in the comments below. But I think this month, these releases, these models are really hitting it out of the park for me. Happy to have this stuff. Hopefully I will get it painted. Hopefully I will do it justice. And hopefully I will do a decent job of cleaning them up, because it really feels like I didn't do a good job. And I don't know. I swear, it's like every time I'm trying to film something, I notice all the little imperfections. But that at least gets me back on track to doing a better job, right? Right. So, I have a link down below. You guys want to take a look at their stuff, by all means, hit it up. There is definitely going to be stuff found that I'm sure he will enjoy. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.